Hello, good evening. So here we are. It's massive news today for Tottenham Hotspur fans, where the chairman, Daniel Levy, has announced that he is stepping down as chairman. So, please come and get involved. It'd be great to have you all on board. If you want to come on and have a chat, let us know what your thoughts on this are. Then we'll get you on. If I can just go through, I'll read a statement from Tottenham Hotspur. It's on their official website, which is tottenhamhotspur.com, and this was released at 17:40, so just over an hour and 20 minutes ago. Let's have a read of this now. So Tottenham Hotspur announces that Daniel Levy has today stepped down from his role as executive chairman after nearly 25 years. Tottenham Hotspur has been transformed over the last quarter of a century. It has played in European competitions in the last 18 of 20 seasons, becoming one of the world's most recognised football clubs, consistently investing in its academy players and facilities, including a new world-class stadium and state-of-the-art training centre. The club has also competed regularly at the highest level, enjoying a number of fantastic on-field successes, including the recent Europa League Cup win. As part of its succession planning, the club has made a number of senior appointments in recent months. Vinay Venkatasham, I think I pronounced that one right, I probably haven't, was hired as Chief Executive Officer, CEO, with Thomas Frank as our new men's head coach and Martin Ho as women's head coach. Peter Charrington joined the board and will step into the newly created role of non-executive chairman. Exactly what that means, I don't know just yet. This is all part of the club's ambition to ensure that it is set up to deliver long-term sporting success. Daniel Levy said, "I'm incredibly proud of the work I've done together with the executive team and all our employees. We have built the club into a global heavyweight competing at the highest level. More than that, we have built a community. I was lucky enough to work with some of the greatest people in this sport, from the team at Lily White House and Hotspur Way to all the players and managers over the years. I wish to thank all of the fans who have supported me over the years. It hasn't always been an easy journey, but significant progress has been made. I'll continue to support this club passionately." Peter Charrington, non-executive chairman, newly appointed, has said, "I am very honoured to become non-executive chairman of this extraordinary club. And on behalf of the board, I would like to thank Daniel and his family for their commitment and loyalty to the club over so many years. This is a new era of leadership for the club, on and off the pitch. I do recognise there has been a lot of change in recent months as we put in place new foundations for the future. We are now fully focused on stability and empowering our talented people across the club led by Vinay and his executive team. And the statement concludes, there are no changes to the ownership or shareholder structure of the club. So that's that. So basically that's broken in the last hour or so, like I said. We are taking people. So if you want to come on board and have a little chat about it, then please do so. I've just read out the statement. So yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, you would have seen a link that I've sent out. It's gone out to the Colonel Spurs Facebook page. I've also sent it out to our members on our Discord group. And also on our Facebook group for this Poddy Supporters Club. So yeah, come on and tell us what you think. I'll just give my initial opinion. Shocked is the first one, to be honest. I think it's definitely one of shock. Completely wasn't expecting this at all. He's been a mainstay for the last, like you said, 25 years. Like you said in the statement, there's been a lot going on over the summer with Donna Cullen stepping aside. Peter Charrington coming in, also Vinay as well, and also like the sporting side of the club with Johan Lange and Fabio Paratici potentially coming back. And of course, Thomas Frank coming in as manager. So, yeah, this has been a bit of a shock this evening. I'm not saying it's been unpleasant. I think a lot of Spurs fans have been asking for this to happen for years now, to be honest, through whatever reasons. You mean lack of investment, whether that's solely down to Daniel Levy, I don't know. I do know there's been a lot of frustration, and I do share that frustration with the lack of signings, or maybe not so much numbers wise, the amount of players coming in, but more the number of players that we've missed out on through I don't know what it seems like to be penny pinching ultimately. I know ticket pricing has been a big issue over the last few years with the constant rises. And also the stadium, like, let's be honest, Daniel Levy's done a fantastic job with the stadium. He promised a world-class stadium, and he's delivered that. So I think we've got to be proud of a stadium, but ultimately it's all well and good having a nice house, as people have said, but it's the furniture that are on in that house and that needs to be improved, which in this case is the players. I think this summer, this transfer window has been good. If we just go through, I'll just have a quick look at what we've actually done this summer. I'll give them out in no particular order. Players that we have brought in. So Kevin Danso, of course, he was on loan last season, certainly the second half of the season. So he's come in, and deals been made permanent from RC Lens in France. That's a reported £20.9 million. Luka Vuskovic, he's been a Tottenham player for 18 months, 2 years now. So his deal was confirmed because he's 18. Basically, there's a lot of legalities around that. So he's actually joined on a permanent. So that's from Hajduk Split for reported, I must say, £9.5 million. These are reported figures. They may well change or vary slightly depending on add-ons and things like that. Matisse Tau, he's come in for a reported £29.9 million. Again, he was with us on loan last season, back into last season. Didn't really do what we were expecting, to be honest. There was glimpses of it, but again, a young lad, he's come in for a decent fee, good pedigree, played over 60 games for Bayern Munich. I think ultimately time's going to tell with him. Kota Takai has come in from Kawasaki Frontale for a reported £5 million. So he's somebody that is a very highly rated, I believe, Japanese international player. So we're going to have to see how that kind of develops. That might be another one like Matisse Tau and Vuskovic, might be a bit of a slow burner. Mohamed Kudus. So this is the one that really kick-started our spending this summer, wasn't it? So he came in from West Ham for £55 million. Big signing. 2 seasons at West Ham. First season was very good. By all accounts, scored a lot of goals, assists. Second season, last season. So the club kind of struggled, didn't they? And he kind of struggled with that. So jury's out. I think he's had a good start to us, really, to life at Tottenham. So we'll see how that one goes. Charles Polinia from Bayern Munich. That's in a loan deal for 12 months. We'll see how that one goes. He's obviously come in with good pedigree from Fulham. He played really well when he was in the Premier League. And at Bayern, whether we had the chances or not, we don't know really. Probably a lot going on, but he's come in. So we'll see how that one goes. Also Xavi Simons from RB Leipzig, £51 million, another kind of big money signing really compared to what we've spent historically. Again, comes in with good pedigree, came through the Barcelona academy. So he's somebody that potentially is going to be something that's going to affect our 11. I'd like to think so, because he's coming in that position, really, hasn't he? Like where Kulusevski and Maddison are kind of injured. So Xavi Simons, a lot expected of him. So we wait a week or so until we maybe see him against West Ham. And finally, our deadline day loan signing, Randall Kolo Muani, has come in from Paris Saint-Germain. No obligation to buy, no commitment to buy or anything like that, apparently. But that's a straight loan deal for a season. So we'll see how that one goes. Significant outs, Heung-min Son, obviously, Tottenham legend. He's kind of left the club. £20 million is the reported fee. We don't know exactly how much that's cost, but they say about £20 million. He's gone to our LAFC over in the States. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Let's forgot about him a little bit, didn't we? He kind of went out on a loan with an obligation to buy, and that obligation buys kicked in this summer. So he's gone to Marseille for around £17 million. Obviously, Mikey Moore gone to Rangers on loan. Released a couple of players, Fraser Forster, Sergei Reguilon, and Alfie Whiteman. And there's several players have gone out on loan. Josh Keeley is joined Luton for around £1 million, and I imagine that's heavily loaded with add-ons, etc. Okay, yes, if you want to get involved, there will be a link. It was not a link that's been sent out days ago. It's the new link which was sent out today. It's for Restream, not StreamYard. So we've changed platform to Restream. So if you want to come on board, then do so. You'll be more than welcome. We can talk about Tottenham. If not, then I'll just waffle on for the next few minutes, and then we'll knock it on the head for tonight. But yeah, if you want to come on, it will be good to see you. You'll come straight on, and I promise I won't bite. We'll just talk Tottenham, shall we? Just imagine we're in a pub, but without the alcohol. I've got an orange juice just there, so I'll have a swig of that, mate. So yeah, Daniel Levy. Where do we start, really? Like I said just now, there was quite a few fans that over the last few years really have become very vocal about getting rid of Daniel Levy, or certainly trying to encourage him to stand down. What do we say, really? I think how do we rate his tenure at Tottenham? I think overall, I would say, I don't know, out of 10, where we give it 5 or 6, maybe. Do you know what I mean? He's left a legacy. We've got an unbelievable training ground, unbelievable stadium. And this summer we kind of brought in a new manager, Thomas Frank, and it looks like we're backing him, doesn't it? We spent a bit of money, which historically we've always kind of spent money, if you look at our kind of net spend, but I just felt like we've always kind of wasted it. Like, we haven't spent the money in the right areas. You look at players like Soldado, Davison Sanchez, and Dombele, Richarlison to a point. And people like this, we just really haven't spent the money in the right areas. And whether that's solely down to Daniel Levy, I don't know. I'm guessing a lot of it is the sporting department, whoever we've had as director of football. Do you know what I mean? We've had several, haven't we? Paul Mitchell is one that springs to mind. Frank Arneson is another. We've had a lot of managers to take over the men's team under Daniel Levy. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Do you know what I mean? The first manager appointed by Levy was Glenn Hoddle in 2001. He was sacked after a poor start to the 2003-2004 season. So that was in September 2003. Followed quickly after. So we kind of went for a few, didn't we? Jacques Santini came in with good pedigree, but he was soon dismissed or left or whatever kind of happened there. But Martin Jol, do you remember, was one of his assistants, wasn't he? So he kind of took over and took Tottenham out of the mid-table position, but was dismissed in the 2007-2008 season after the team had only won 1 out of the first 10 games of that season. I was actually at the game where Martin Jol got dismissed. Weird night, that one. I believe it was against Getafe. We were kind of sat in the south stand, and word started getting around that Daniel Levy pulled the trigger on Martin Jol at half-time, actually, which was very sad, because Martin Jol, he's got no hair, but we don't care. I really like Martin Jol. He was a really good manager for us. So that was shortly followed by Juan de Ramos, the ketchup man. Took the ketchup off of the kitchen tables, didn't he? So he succeeded as head coach in 2008. He delivered the League Cup in that season, didn't he? So the first trophy under Daniel Levy's stewardship, and the club's first trophy in 9 years. But Levy made a decision to replace him with Harry Redknapp on the 25th of October 2008. So we started going through managers quite regularly, didn't we? And that kind of continued, didn't it, under Daniel Levy? That was after Ramos made the worst start to a league campaign in the club's history during the 2008-2009 season. Do you remember how many points we had? Yeah, we had 8 games, 2 points, wasn't it? I think it was that Redknapp kept alluding to. So Redknapp guided Tottenham to a top 4 finish in the 2009-2010 season, winning an entry into the qualification round of the UEFA Champions League for the first time. So that was when we beat Man City away, didn't we? And Crouchy with a header. Crouchy! And I think we beat Burnley, I think it was, at the weekend following that. The Tottenham reached the knockout stage of the 2010-2011 Champions League, but lost there to Real Madrid. That was pretty poor, wasn't it? 5-0 aggregate. Do you remember? Was it Adebayor got sent off and it kind of just changed from there, didn't it? The club finished 5th in the Premier League in the 2010-11 season, missing out on the Champions League qualification, but securing a place in the Europa League on the 13th of June 2012. Redknapp was sacked after failing to agree terms for a new deal. So that was that little merry-go-round, wasn't it? It just kind of went round when he was linked with the England job, and it was will he, won't he? Redknapp didn't quite commit, did he? And then we had the bits about the money, and Tottenham backed him in court and all this sort of stuff. So that got a bit messy there, didn't it? But so on the 3rd of July, Levy appointed former Chelsea and Porto boss Andre Villas-Boas, the PowerPoint man. So he gave a good presentation, as he always does, to Daniel Levy, and it certainly impressed him enough to allow Daniel to employ him as team's new head coach. So following some poor results in the first half of the 2013-14 season, including that 5-0 home defeat against Liverpool. That was dreadful, wasn't it? Levy sacked Villas-Boas on the 16th of December. There you go. Nice little Christmas present for you, Andre. Given a boot on the 2013. Head of football development and former player Tim Sherwood, the man with a gilet. He was subsequently announced as head coach. He also left at the end of the season. You remember that rant away to Chelsea when he went mental, didn't he, after the game? I thought, oh my God, Tim, what are you doing here? But it was good. It was good to hear a manager talk from the heart, and probably Tim Sherwood's biggest down point is that he always spoke from the heart, where some managers, you just got to just keep it quiet a little bit. So on the 27th of May 2014, Levy appointed former Southampton manager Mauricio Pochettino as head coach. Brilliant. I love Mauricio. The team reached the League Cup final in Pochettino's first season in charge, which also saw a number of the club's academy players step up to establish themselves in the first team, including some bloke called Harry Kane. What's he up to now? Never heard of him. Never heard of him since. Whatever happened to Harry? Ryan Mason, Nabil Bentaleb and Andros Townsend. Pochettino's team qualified for the Europe with a 5th place finish in the 2014-15 season before challenging for the Premier League title in the 2015-16 and 2016-17 seasons, with a squad with the youngest average in the Premier League in the latter season. It was that cup final, wasn't it? Was it Chelsea? Was it? I can't remember what it was now. It was Chelsea, wasn't it? Yeah. When Pochettino, I think he put Sonny at left back to me. I remember going to the game. I was like, "You've lost the plot here, mate." But it didn't quite work out, did it? Tottenham finished 2nd in the league, making it their highest league position since 1962-63 season under Billy Nick, and the team has been ranked among the top 4 since 2015-16, allowing them to qualify for and participate in the Champions League since 2016-17. Tottenham reached the Champions League final for the first time in 2018-19, losing to Liverpool 2-0. Didn't really get going in that game, did we? I thought the semi-final against Ajax, that was the climax. Unbelievable night that was. We met up with a lot of fellow Cornwall Tottenham fans down in the Barley Sheaf, actually, in Truro. And that was an amazing night. Never forget that one. But the final, we watched at the Tottenham Stadium, big screens on the pitch. Unfortunately, Sissoko's penalty given away, didn't he, after the first, 30 seconds for handball. Still watch that now. I think they changed the handball rule not long after that game, didn't they? Spursy. Never mind. 19th of November 2019, Pochettino was sacked. So and then he was replaced by the following day, actually, by Jose Mourinho. That kind of happened overnight, didn't it? After 17 months in charge, Mourinho was sacked on the 19th of April 2021 after a spate of losses and disappointing second half of the 2020-21 season. Former player Ryan Mason served as an interim manager for the rest of the season, losing to Man City in the 2021 League Cup final 1-0. Do you remember that? I think Mourinho was sacked on the Monday, was it? And then we had the final on the at the weekend. But I've seen quotes from Mourinho since, and he's actually referred to that as half a trophy for him. He said whenever he says how many trophies he's won, he always refers to that one as half a trophy. It's a shame we haven't got half the trophy in the trophy cabinet, isn't it? So 30th of June 2021, Levy appointed Nuno Espirito Santo, the head coach, on a 2-year deal. Nuno was sacked on the 1st of November 2021 following a run of poor results, which saw Tottenham lose 4 out of 6 of their previous Premier League games. So on the 2nd of November 2021, Levy appointed Antonio Conte as the new head coach on an 18-month deal with an option to extend further. So the team's form improved under Conte and resulted in Tottenham qualifying for the UEFA Champions League. He was sacked in March 2023. I mentioned this word sacked quite a few times, haven't I? So following a run of poor results in the Champions League elimination at the hands of Milan, that was an awful night, that one. Conte's assistant, Christian Stellini. Let's go back to that Milan game, actually. I think we were 1-0 down and we were going into oh my word, we just did not attack at all. That was at Tottenham, actually. I was going to say White Lane. I still call it White Lane. But at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, oh my word, that was dreadful. We just never had a go at all. Conte's assistant, Stellini, was appointed as interim manager with the intention of finishing the season, but he was sacked himself following a 6-1 defeat to Newcastle. Ryan Mason returned in his stead. Then came in Postecoglou. He was appointed as new head coach on the 6th of June 2023, but he was sacked on the 6th of June 2025, exactly 2 years after his dismissal from the club. Levy appointed Thomas Frank, and that was in this summer, as Tottenham's new head coach. So as we sit here today on the 4th of September 2025, we say goodbye to Daniel Levy. We're not exactly sure from the statement. I'll go back to the statement again. It says, this is a new era for leadership for the club on and off the pitch. I do recognise there has been a lot of change in recent months as we put in place new foundations for the club. We're now fully focused on stability and empowering our talented people across the club, led by Vinay and his executive team. That was from Peter Charrington, who's now the non-executive chairman of Tottenham. But Levy finished his statement interestingly by saying, I wish to thank all of the fans that have supported me over the years. I wonder how many that is and what percentage. It hasn't been an easy journey, but significant progress has been made. I've got to admit, off the pitch, it has been, but almost probably on the pitch, actually. But he does finish it, I'll go into that in a bit more, but he does finish it by saying, I will continue to support this club passionately. Now, in what role that would be, I do not know, whether that's going to be as a fan or whether that's going to be as a non-executive board member, or I don't know what the technicalities around that are, but whether he's going to completely step away now, I don't know. It looks like a lot has gone on in the background over the summer, getting things sorted. So Levy's noted for maintaining a relatively modest wage structure at Tottenham. I think that's to say the least compared to other Big Six clubs. I was just going to go on a little bit and just say about whether he has been successful, really. I suppose it depends on, if you look at the state of the club when he took over, or when ENIC took over and Levy was appointed as chairman, I would kind of say that his tenure kind of has been successful in a way. I mean, like I said, we've certainly got a nice new stadium now. We've got a nice training ground. The play inside, we're pretty stable, aren't we? I know we had a bit of a ropey season last year, but we've been, in the main, we haven't had too many threats towards the bottom half of the league. I know a club like Tottenham, we should be looking the other end, more up than down, but we've had, quite a few Champions League campaigns, got to the final. We've been to the numerous semi-finals and finals. So I think then when we get to games like that, it comes down on the day, really. And ultimately, is Levy to blame for that? I don't know. You could possibly say that if he gave us a little bit more quality and a few more players, then maybe it would have pushed us over the line in those semi-finals and finals. But ultimately, a lot of it does come down to the day, doesn't it? The finest of margins. I don't think really there's too many games where we've been dominated in these semis and finals. It does just come down to the little bit of luck on the day, doesn't it? And we haven't really had that. So I would say trophy-wise, what's he won? I'm just thinking off the top of my head now. We've got the League Cup 2009 or 2008. So was it 2008? 2009? I've gone blank now. 2008 against Chelsea. And also obviously the Europa League last year, but trophy-wise, I think over 25 years of a chairman at a club like Tottenham, with the support, the resources we've got compared to clubs that have also won trophies over that time, if you know what I mean, I would say it hasn't been successful. But Daniel Levy's legacy at Tottenham will certainly be the training ground and the stadium. I think ultimately they're the ones that he's going to walk away, dust his hands down and say, look, I've left it there now. The infrastructure's there. Like whether we're kind of setting the club up to be bought out, I don't know. Whether there is investment that's coming in. There's a lot of rumours about the stadium naming rights, which has dragged on far too long, in my opinion. The stadium's been open for 6 years now. I mean, a lot of Spurs fans, I still, like I did at the top of this piece, refer to it as White Hart Lane. It's officially the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. There's the gates are in place now, aren't they? The Bill Nicholson gates. So there's a nod to the past. I think there's a lot more to happen at the stadium, I think. And there's a lot of good people campaigning against that. So, and trying to get more things at the stadium, referencing our past, like statues and things like that. So I think that's certainly something we need to do. Whether that was Levy blocking that, or I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's whether we've got marketing and it's just easier to market it as a generic stadium, or it'll be interesting now, really, over the next certainly 6 months to a year, really, what kind of direction we go in, because it would be a good indicator, I believe, to show us where we were at under Levy. If all of a sudden statues start appearing around the stadium and things like this, and we start spending money, was it Levy putting the handbrake on that? Time's going to tell, isn't it? But ultimately, today is a massive. It's you know, when you get turning points for better or for worse, time will tell whether it's for worse. Time will tell whether it's for the better. But today could be one of those, couldn't it? It could be a massive point in Tottenham's history where 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, where fans could look back and say the 4th of September 2025 was the time. It was the turning point for Tottenham. Now, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that that turning point is for the better. But it could well be for the worst. If you want to get involved, guys, I'm going to be on for another 5 minutes, just waffling absolute rubbish, talking about Tottenham, which I'll talk all night about it. But I'm not going to, you know, I mean, if people want to come on and just have a little chat, you don't need to be on for any amount of time. Just click on the link. It's the Restream link, not the StreamYard one. Use the Restream link. Click on that. Come in. It would put you into a holding room, a green room if you like, and I'll add you to the studio, and we'll just come on and have a chat, a couple of minutes. It doesn't have to be anything long. And then if not, give it 5 minutes and I'll knock it on the head, and we'll upload this one as a video so people can look back if they want to. Yeah, a little bit more about Levy. So he's described as being the chief negotiator in the transfer of players to Tottenham. He's acquired a reputation for tough negotiations in the club's transfer dealings. Former Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson once described him as negotiating with Levy, over the transfer of Dimitar Berbatov as more painful than my hip replacement. Now, I haven't had my hip replaced, thankfully, not just yet. It might be in the future at some point, but there you go. Does Levy take some pride from that? Quite possibly. In 2013, Levy negotiated a then world record fee of £86 million for the transfer of Gareth Bale to Real Madrid, and he's particularly known for his last-minute dealings on transfer deadline days. Don't we know it? With notable examples including the signings of Van der Vaart and Hugo Lloris. He's also known for targeting young players in the hope of developing them into major stars. So the strategy has always been like his successes of players like Gareth Bale, Christian Eriksen, Heung-min Son, Dele Alli. Oh, Dele Alli, what a talent he was. Hopefully he can get a club sorted, because that guy, if he can sort himself out, is a brilliant footballer, absolutely amazing. One of the best I've seen actually live. Dele Alli, some of the stuff he did was unbelievable, so I wish him well. Levy's been criticised by Tottenham supporters and pundits alike for not investing more money in the transfer market. In the first 4 years of Pochettino's tenure as Spurs manager, the club had a net spend of just £29 million on transfer fees, considerably lower than the other major Premier League clubs in the same period. In 2018, Tottenham became the first Premier League club to make no signings during a summer transfer window. There you go. There's another first for Daniel Levy. Take that one away, son. Levy has been instrumental in attracting corporate partners to the club in multi-million-pound sponsorship deals. This is stuff that he'll pride himself on, won't he? And there is a lot to take away. You mean a lot of good positive stuff that he's done, including current partners Nike and AIA. He negotiated multiple shirt sponsorships in 2010, agreeing a deal with software infrastructure company Autonomy as the club's shirt sponsor in the Premier League, while Investec became the shirt sponsor in the Champions League and domestic cup competitions. Remember those ones? So he's done a lot of good. You mean, we've got to be honest, let's be fair. I know it's easy to say, look, we've only won 2 trophies in 25 years and beaten without stick, and rightly so. A club the size of Tottenham, we should be doing a lot more, and I think we have underperformed over the years. I'm gonna have a swig of drink, but I've done a lot of talking here. But let's be fair. Let's have a balanced argument, and let's say, look, he has done a lot of good for the football club. Whether a lot of fans agree or not, my opinion, he has. I think I'll go into it in a minute. But Levy has also promoted governance issues relating to the Premier League, and most recently advocating enhance financial controls for all owners to ensure the long-term financial stability of clubs. In 2007, he lobbied successfully for clubs to be allowed to name 7 players on the substitutes bench in order to encourage the inclusion of youngsters. The change was ratified in February 2008. So I didn't know that, actually. I didn't know that Levy was a big part in that, to have 7 subs. Probably because he didn't want to see his money go to waste today. He's like, if I'm paying you this amount of money each week, get your asses down to the stadium and start earning your money, boys. But yeah, just like, I think a lot of fans would say that he's done a lot of good, and you mean rightly so, measure that against the amount of trophies that we've won or missed out on. But I think ultimately his legacy will be the stadium. He did pride himself on it. I did see a story when not long after the stadium was built, actually, or was opened, where Levy had gone around. So for those of you who've been to the stadium, in the concourses, we've got all the monitors, the screens where we watch not Jeff Stelling now, is it? Whoever it is, Simon Thomas and Julian Walters and all that gang doing the Saturday afternoon Soccer Saturday and the live football. So those screens, apparently they were too small. Daniel Levy didn't want those screens in place. So he looked at the screens and said, no, let's have bigger screens. So I think his attention to detail for the stadium was really good. You know what I mean? He did a lot around that. And we've got a stadium to be proud of. And every player that kind of comes in comments on the stadium and also on the training ground. But let's be fair here. Do you know what I mean? Let's have a look and say, look, he has done good off the pitch. But I just feel he's never really got it right around that kind of sporting structure with a manager, manager, sporting director of football. We kind of flirted, didn't we? We kind of never really got that structure in place above the manager. Every couple of years we looked at it and then tried to copy other clubs' models and sniffed around other clubs' managers who we think is going to be the next best thing. And for whatever reason, it kind of, I don't know, we've kind of had a very up and down kind of 25 years under him, haven't we? But right, if you want to come in, do it now, because I'm about to knock it on the head. We'll have a little chat for a couple of minutes if you want to come in. There won't be anything taxing. You just come in and just let me know what you think of Daniel Levy, really. If not, then no problem at all. I'll say goodnight to you and off we go. But yeah, I'll kick around for a couple of minutes. Just a couple of little things I'm going to read. So the training ground in 2012, they moved in there, which is set in 80 acres of greenbelt land. Planning and construction of the facility took over 7 years, and the player accommodation lodge was added later. The Brazil national team stayed at the lodge to prepare for the 2018 World Cup. So we oversaw the construction of the new stadium adjacent to and replacing the White Hart Lane site. From its design to the construction. So the Northumberland Development Project, which it's called, was announced in 2008 with the building of a new club stadium as its centrepiece. After some delay, the construction of the new venue started in 2015. The stadium was designed with an initial capacity of 62,062, making it the largest club stadium in London. There you go. You've never seen that, will you? The largest club stadium in London. You'll never seen that. And the second largest in the country. So the project is intended to be a catalyst for the regeneration of Tottenham, to bring new jobs and homes to the area. Certainly much needed, wasn't it? So for the 2017-18 season, Levy negotiated the club's move to Wembley Stadium for 1 year to allow demolition of the old venue and the completion of a new stadium on the same site as White Hart Lane. So during that time at Wembley, the club broke the Premier League attendance record several times, and as well as the Champions League attendance record for a British club. Now, look, come on, people talk about trophies, but we've broken the Premier League attendance record several times, no less, as well as the Champions League attendance record for a British club. I'll tell you what, mate, I'm well enough here. These achievements are unbelievable, aren't they? So the new stadium officially opened on the 3rd of April 2019 and branded as the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It includes the world's first dividing retractable pitch to accommodate other leading sports, notably American football, commonly known as NFL, and entertainment events. So the design allowed the club to agree a 10-year deal to host NFL matches at their new home from 2018 onwards. I think that's been renewed to 2030, I believe. And the stadium is reported to have cost £1.2 billion, as Dalboy might say, billion. And a financial analysis in February 2021 indicated that construction of the stadium is largely responsible for burdening Tottenham with a £1.77 million debt, the biggest of all European clubs. So in November 2017, Levy was named the CEO of the Year at the Football Business Awards. So there we go. That's kind of like my thoughts on Daniel Levy. I'm not going to stay on here for ages. I don't think anyone's coming in. So I'll upload this as a video. You can watch it again if you want. I'm sure you'll want to watch back and see me rambling on about Tottenham. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on it, basically. Overall, be careful what you wish for. Hopefully this new chap comes in, and I think Levy's ultimate impact will be decided by what this new chap does. I've forgot his name already now. What's he called? Peter Charrington. So we'll see what he goes on and does. What I do actually, whilst you're on here, bear with me a second, should we look him up? Let's see what he's done, shall we? Peter Charrington. Tottenham, right. I don't know. Struggle to find it. Never mind. Right. Anyway, so yeah, let's see what he does. Ultimately, if things start changing and there's no extra financial input, and we start seeing trophies, that'd be nice. Statues and that whip up around the Tottenham ground, and maybe it was Levy and it was putting the handbrake on that. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have tuned in this evening, I'll stick it up as a video so you can watch it again. But what I'll do is I'll post out and we'll go live talking general football soon. Beware, we've got some ex-professional footballers, some former professional footballers from various clubs coming onto this channel on YouTube very soon over the next few weeks. So keep an eye on that one. I've got a few lined up, and I'll tell you now, I'm quite excited actually to be talking to a few of them, because a couple of them that I've got lined up are actual heroes of mine. So it'd be really good to get them on here and start speaking. So yeah, please get involved. Click on that like button. Subscribe on YouTube. We've got a Facebook page. Look up the Supporters Club, which is just up here, and get involved. So thank you very much for your time this evening, and enjoy. Daniel Levy has gone, so we start a new era at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.